Good morning. Welcome in to another edition. Blue Sky Live here with you today. Parham and Neal McCready. He's in the Clark Ford studio doing a little remote action this morning, scheduling reasons. That's cool. Actually get to see both our faces a little bit. There are positives to this. We've kind of gotten used to it. So I don't know, maybe seeing our faces is not a positive. Maybe you're going to get back into all the side angles and all the ways that we are not being as visually seen. But nonetheless, appreciate you here with us today. A couple different main topics. Ole Miss picks up two out of the basketball transfer portal, including AJ Storr from Kansas, who now is going to complete the quadfecta twice, four different high schools, four different colleges for his career. But hey, was a scorer. He was a bucket at Wisconsin. So what is the Rebels getting there? Corin Johnson also yesterday. Kids Day game strikes again on the Rebels. Ole Miss falls to Little Rock 7-3 yesterday. Little Rock of RPI 254 fame. What does it mean? Why? What happened there? We'll discuss that a little bit. And then just some random topics, including Lane Kiffin on Theo Vaughn yesterday, making the rounds all over the message board, all over the internet, including from people who love to cut clips of other people's work and put them out for their own gain. That is all over the internet this morning. So, anyway, that's where our Wednesday is leading there. Neil got that. He was with me. He got his eyes perked up. So,
I got it.
anyway, blue sky locations all through the state of Mississippi, up and down I
Won't be
55
long, Jay.
throughout.
Won't be long.
In class when you really want to do something and the teacher goes, "Hey, raise your hand for the good thing," and everybody throws their hand up. It's like, no, 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 I got it. Don't worry, I got it. It's
I
fine here.
yeah.
So, yeah. Blue sky all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55 through North Mississippi. Also, lunch specials, Sweet Daddy's locations, all the Sweet Daddy's locations. They give you catering options too. So not just the 569 lunch specials, the sides, the bread, the whole deal. You also can take care of the pulled pork, the brisket, the ribs, so many different things there to feed as big of a group as you have available with Blue Sky and Sweet Daddies. And again, Neil's in the Clark Ford studio.
Yeah, I am. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. Don't forget, they've got employee pricing throughout the rest of the month. So you got about 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, actually, to take advantage of that at Clark Ford, 662-257-1900. Guests join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
So we get our final spring football look tomorrow. Again, we thought it was scheduled for yesterday. They canceled that because of the Kids Day game. I have not listened to Lane on Theo Vaughn yet. I'm going to do it while I go for a run here after the show this morning, so I'll at least catch the majority of it. I'll be able to talk about it after that. Not surprised that he's good at all on there. I'm seeing mostly very, very positive marks. I've seen a couple of the clips and seen different things with that, and I've seen a lot of commentary about Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn to me is a much better podcaster than comedian. It's a bit of more of a slow burn thing, a little better from a narrative standpoint, but he's become a really elite podcaster, frankly, in a lot of avenues, both with guests and his ability to be more comfortable. I've listened to him for a while, kind of guest dependent is what I would say. I've got a lot of podcasts that really depends who they have on, whether or not I have much interest instead of just listening for the host. And I think what doesn't work for him also is what works. I think he made Lane comfortable. I think he's got a nose and kind of an all shucks thing. And him not acting like he knows anything, I think plays well with Lane. Sometimes with guests, Theo Vaughn's a little frustrating because he does like no research at all, and he kind of doesn't have any ability to really understand anything that you're talking about. So you just have to talk and explain. But I think with Lane, that feeds off in a very positive way. There are not many football coaches in the country that could be worth it to Theo Vaughn. Frankly, Lane's on a very short list of anyone who even would be interesting to that type of podcast genre. I mean, I would assume he's one of the top 5 podcasters in the country at this point. If I'm just guessing anecdotally at that juncture. But look, it's good for Ole Miss. It's good for Lane. Lane does have a really good eye for marketing and what makes sense from that national level. Um, Neil and I differ a little bit just because I take that back. We don't differ on the fact Lane doesn't need local media. He can do these national things, and that gets millions and millions and millions and tens of millions more views than anything he does locally. I don't necessarily think it has to be one or the other, but that is not for my news there or for my decision making in any way. But probably worth a
Well,
listen. Go ahead.
I have a nuanced take on that. I mean, I think if you injected him with True Serum, there probably is some local media that he would sit down with and talk to. But I think he feels, and he's probably right, given the landscape of media covering the beat, that if he did one, there would be tremendous pressure on him to do multiple,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't want to, because
Correct.
some of the others are going to do the hardcore stuff that he hates. He hates
That he
it. I
even
mean,
shut down with Theo Vaughn yesterday. When
yeah, literally stopped it. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I saw that, and I think he loves to talk about life, and he likes to talk about how much his life has changed and how he had a certain view when he got here, and that view has completely changed 6 years later. I think he enjoys, like most dads, talking about his children. And so things of that nature, I think, are very interesting to him. He likes football. But look, I suspect he's like a lot of football people, that he likes to talk football with other people who can talk football, not people who pretend they know football. And let's face it, most of us in the media, we don't watch. We talked about this before. You and me in the press box don't see the same game that Pete Golding sees in the press box. And that's not a negative. It's just a truth. In the same way you and me see journalism differently than probably Pete Golding and Lane Kiffin see it. I just think he views Lane's very, very good with his brand. And I just think he views local media as, if I start down this road, it might never end. And so he says that I don't need it, and he does not need it. That part's
does
not
not
debatable.
need it.
That is not debatable. And so it's just, if I do this, I'm just creating an avenue that's going to cause problems.
We'll discuss it more. We'll have Jeffrey on tomorrow. I will have watched or listened to it all by then, so I'll see if there's anything to grab from it at that point. Um, no, look, Lane on social media is not the real Lane Kiffin in any capacity. He's not comfortable in person the way he is on social media.
And I knew that, because when I
Yeah.
was talking, I mean, you know who I was talking to in large part, and he said that repeatedly, that, hey,
Well, because what we kept hearing when Lane was a potential candidate or anytime his name would come up was, oh my God, it's awesome. Y'all are getting Steve Spurrier. And it's like, no, he couldn't be more different than Steve Spurrier. They're 180s. Like they saw offense and a visor and somebody who cracks jokes and thought they were the same person, and just nothing. 180 from one another.
Well, the whole Joey Freshwater thing, and some stories out of Tuscaloosa that I have no idea whether they're true or not, nor do I really care. But I mean, is he a different person today, a decade later, than he was when he had just gotten to Alabama and was in the midst of a career
Personal
crisis,
chaos, and probably everything else? Yeah.
and a divorce, and away from his children, and there was a lot. I mean, yeah, I would think most of us, whether we are a popular football coach or not, would have a certain life view change over the course of a decade like that. I mean, I think that we probably would see things in a different way. I mean, he said it so many times now that it's not as revelatory to me, but for him to be as as self-reflective as he was in that interview was pretty interesting, just because it's interesting, not the validation for Oxford or Ole Miss or any of that stuff, just kind of a reflection on what he expected. Kind of he came here with an idea, and I mean, not all of that idea, like he said, is wrong, right? I mean, sometimes I get what he's saying. Sometimes you just want to get away from a conversation. You're like, I got something to do. I don't want to do this right now, and people, what, how's that? How's this? And I was just like, God, I don't want to spend 45 minutes on this.
There are tons of positives to it, but the negative is, when you need to get away, you feel like the jerk. Like, you get stopped, you need to, like, hey, I really got to get moving here, and like you feel like you're the person that is creating that that problem or that separation.
I understand what he says, and then I think you
get bugged by Mississippians or Southerners. We beat around the bush too much.
Yeah.
It bothers you.
It drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll say to Laura sometimes, she'll start with like 3 questions to get to something. I'm like, just what is it you want? What is, she's from Alabama. It's like, what is it you want? Tell me what you want. I mean, I've hurt her feelings so badly. It's one of the worst things I've ever done is she'll start on this story and it's to get to a point, and I just want the point. And I'm like, okay, I'll do my hand like, and she just loses it. I mean, gets so upset at me. And I'm like, I was an ass. I was bad. And I realized later that that's just how people communicate. And I'm trying to get to the point. Like, let's just get there. And there's a journey. We have a neighbor who's a fantastic person. She's wonderful, but she's that way. I mean, just the story takes forever and ever and ever. And then you get to the end and you're like, you could have just started right there.
It's leisurely. It's a little slow. It's what is it? What is you say? Mississippi is the largest small town in America. I think that's your quote. You said multiple times.
All you people know each other. It's the craziest thing.
He gets so freaked out on group text because there'd be 3 people who randomly don't know each other at all. And it's like, well, my cousin lives down in Hickory Flat, and then, whatever. And suddenly you're doing the connection.
This is nuts. But no, I mean, it's a really wonderful place. Mississippi is. I mean, it just kind of takes you a minute to get used to it. And so I can see how that's happened to him over time. And how in 2019, and then, I mean, he gets here in December of 2019, and 3 months later, we're doing this whole pandemic thing. And then immediately we're changing the sport that he's coached. We're completely changing the rules, and he's doing all of that. His kids aren't here, and he's still got a place in Boca and all that. You can see how it took a minute.
The first night he was here, he got frustrated because there weren't a lot of food options as late as he needed to eat dinner. Jimmy had to pull strings to get Jinsei to feed him.
Yeah.
First night.
Yeah. I mean, and he's had this, health journey, and he stopped drinking, and he's lost a lot of weight. And I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's pretty fascinating. I mean, that would be, to the point. I mean, it wouldn't frustrate our audience, because I think our audience has been with us so long that they sort of understand who we are. But like a hardcore Ole Miss football fan, if I got an hour with Lane Kiffin on a podcast, I don't know that we would talk football. I don't. In fact, I'm fairly sure I would not bring football up. I would be fascinated with the nutrition stuff that he does. I'd love to talk about that for a long time. Like, okay, you like fish. How do you like to cook it? Like, how do you not get tired of it? You live in Mississippi. There's not a lot of fresh fish options here. How do you do? And I realize he has more resources than a lot of people, and he can probably get it. But you understand my point. I'd still love to talk about that, and exercise, and how you got into Pilates and yoga, and how do you not get bored? How bad did
the first Pilates session suck? Well, it sucks.
And not only that, but like how much do you not just get like Campbell, my daughter, teaches a plank class, and it's harder than hell. It's like plank is like a form of Pilates. It's got a funny name. I don't remember the name of it, but like it's hard as hell. like to the point where I was laughing at like falling over on some of the stuff. But there was also some moments in it where I was kind of bored. Like, how do you fight that boredom, when you're used to running and maybe it's the same thing as running long
Says the guy who
distances.
runs for 4 hours. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it.
But they incorporated some football. He made fun of Brian Kelly, and there was some Kirby stuff and the Jimbo stuff. But for the most part, the part that he likes to talk about is the part about how his life has changed, and I completely get that.
We're gonna get to sports in a second. I kind of had it hit me yesterday because of all like the 10-year stuff and like what my 2015 was. But somebody had thrown on the board. Jeffrey's been gone almost 9 years. I felt really old this morning when I saw that thread.
Yeah, I remember the morning that he called me and said that he
9 years.
had an offer in Memphis, and I was like, you should take it. Jeff Calkins called me about him, and I was like, you should absolutely hire him. All the while thinking, man, this is gonna suck. Like we have taken advantage of him, and he's learned. He's taken our podcast to a place where now we can't go backwards, and I don't know how to do this. But yeah, it was. It's been a long time.
It's November of 16 when he actually started there.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think his last covered game he covered with us at football was the day Chad Kelly got hurt.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's the day that was.
There was a lot of shit going on right about that time.
Oh.
All the NCAA stuff was starting to bubble. Freeze was just a nightmare to deal with.
Joseph, quick question. Didn't want to derail, but questioned, why did Trinidad Chambliss transfer to Ole Miss? Just okay with being a backup and not playing again, or is there a real chance he plays? Well, I mean, you're always one sprained ankle away. I mean, every backup in the SEC is 1 minute away from playing.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss probably paid him more than he was going to get anywhere else to come in and play. It was probably let's be real. Most decisions now are financial.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess it was a financial decision. There's no point in doing all the playing time talk. I mean, he got offered and at an SEC school, probably SEC NIL money. Shut up, Neil. Salary, SEC salary. He's not doing any NIL. Offered him salary, and I don't think Ole Miss was very pleased at all, or is very pleased at all with its backup quarterback situation right now. I don't think it had anything to do with an injury to Maddox. I just don't think. Look, I'm not going to pretend to be a football expert. I'm not going to start today. I've been consistent with this. We get 30 minutes-ish once a week at spring, and I watch quarterbacks sometimes, and in my opinion, they've got one SEC quarterback on the roster. That's pretty, a little risky.
Yeah, you only need one until you don't. So
they needed two last year.
Yep. That one drive was pretty critical at the moment.
It was a pretty big deal. I mean, you can argue that they would have come back and won that game. Sure. But if you have to just 3-and-out punt right there, you're down 7-0. If you have to just, hey, this is an intentional walk here. We're going to hope we get a good punt and hope we get a good stop. See if we can't get Jackson back. Maybe you get it. Maybe he comes back and you still win the game. But that drive felt pretty damn big in the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's probably almost certainly making six figures to back up.
Oh, guaranteed.
Almost certainly. I mean,
guaranteed.
That's where the salary numbers are.
The list of six figures is quite long, guys.
Oh, you'd be shocked. People would literally, I mean, and people say, why don't you write them? Because we don't have them confirmed.
Yeah.
But I think if we were able to confirm and we wrote numbers, I think people would be literally stunned.
So, Ole Miss picks up 2 basketball portal guys yesterday. They lead it off with Kansas guard A.J. Storr. had a very disappointing season at Kansas, 6.1 points per game, 38% from the field, 29 from three. He did score 15 in that loss to Arkansas in the NCAA tournament. I noticed him that night. I watched pretty much that whole game. 6'7" guard at Wisconsin. He was good. He averaged 16.8, 32 from three there, and then he started his career at St. John's, where he was a 40.4% shooter from 3-point range at Wisconsin. So Ford School, 4 years, St. John's, Wisconsin, Kansas, and now Ole Miss. Neither one of us has an answer to this, but just from a basketball terms, what potentially happened between the Badgers and the Jayhawks there? Because that's a different dude. Depending on which one you get, is going to decide whether or not this is worth it for the Rebels.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, this will be his 8th school in 8 years, his 4th college in 4 years. I mean, there's a pattern there. You can obviously, it's pretty established. He can score. At St. John's, he actually shot the ball about 40% from three, which is great.
He did.
Anything over about 36% from three is really solid. He goes to Wisconsin and had a great season. I mean, really did. Had a great season. Now, I'm going to get to the other part of that in a second. He goes to Kansas and had a very disappointing season. Had a couple of blips where he did some things, but for the most part, it was a disappointing season. But that whole program had a disappointing season. So I don't know that it was just him. Certainly he was part of it, but there was a lot there. I don't cover Kansas. They're not in the SEC. I don't follow them. But there was scuttle kind of around college basketball circles all year that wasn't exactly the happiest program in America. So, I mean, the consistency with him is that he is always a guy who can go off offensively, and he has always defensively been a liability. Now, the question on that, and we'll find out because Beard and and that staff, if you don't defend, you don't play. So much of their identity is built on defense and on toughness, and they're going to coach the hell out of defense. So is it because he can't defend, or is it because, like a lot of offensive-minded players, he doesn't really care about defense? We'll find out.
Mark Adams cares about defense.
I mean, eats and sleeps it. And, so does Chris. I mean, keeping it pretty real. But, I mean, there's an upside there. I mean, he's a guy that can go get a bucket. And there were times this season, even in the Sweet 16 season, where I would tell people it just feels like they're a scorer short. There were times when it was like, okay, other than Padula, who can go get you a bucket here? And he can get you a bucket, and sometimes can get hot. Like, he played really well against Arkansas in that tournament game. He was not the reason they lost to Arkansas that night. But he's solid. Now, the other one that they got yesterday, Corin Johnson, is the one that I think Ole Miss fans should be super excited about. He got derailed with the shoulder thing at Louisville and really didn't play. Played
2 games.
Played 2 games. Then he was missing games. It was going to be a while before he could get back. It's probably going to need surgery. So they just went ahead and did the surgery. And then I think over the course of the year, Louisville everybody decided it might be best to move on. But his second season at Washington, he was really good. And he gives you some size. Like, that was the thing. They had the kid in from Middle Tennessee. He's 5'11", 6 feet tall. I just don't know that you can do a lot of that in the SEC. This is a league it's known for big guards. I mean, you're gonna be. I mean, Walter Clayton Jr. type people walk around in this league. You got to have some size. I think Johnson gives them a guy who can facilitate, a guy who can score, a guy who's a pretty effective defender. So I know the Store got more of the headlines yesterday, but to me, Johnson was the bigger get.
Yeah, 11 points a game at Washington 2 years ago. He wins Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year honors, 44 and 37. You mentioned the two percentages there for him, and he's 6'2". I know we're positionless, but the store kid kind of plays the three, kind of a wing three.
Yeah. I mean, he's a 2/3, whatever that is. I mean,
But probably
no,
not going to shoot the three like a traditional two.
um, no, but he can. I mean, he's not quite a good enough shooter to be a volume shooter from there, but he can get you some. He can hit the three.
So now at this point, the roster is Dia, Klafke, Chest, Johnson, and Store.
Yeah, Robert Cowherd got in the portal yesterday, which I interpreted to mean that they found him a home.
Okay. Hope he does well.
Yeah, sure.
They have 5 players.
That's all you need.
Well, they don't have a point and they don't have a 5, but yeah, sure. Okay. Other than that, it's fine.
Positionless basketball, just throw them out there and go. Better get in really good shape. I mean, the portal started to move a little bit yesterday. I mean, they added a couple of guys. Auburn added Keyshawn Murphy. I saw Arkansas added a couple of guys. I think LSU added somebody. I mean, there was movement yesterday, which
It was
tells
kind
me
of the first break day where you went, okay, here we go.
yeah,
And the football portal opened today. Woo!
yeah, so excited.
Sign me up.
By the way, on McCready and Siski on Monday, Tyler said that today Nico Iamalava would enter the portal with the no contact tag because he has a deal done. And the first part of that has come true. He has entered the transfer portal with the no contact tag.
Where do you think it's headed?
I don't know. My guess is one of the California schools.
SC or LA?
That's my guess.
Okay.
It's just it's a kind of a guess. I mean, there's been a lot of reporting and Tulane, quote, pulled out of it and all that. And I'll be surprised if he doesn't get the money he's looking for.
I mean, Tulane felt a little funny in that anyway. I mean, they lose their quarterback to Duke because they didn't pay basically the same amount, but then you have it for Nico.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Mensa's not the better guy.
The no contact thing tells me he's got a deal.
Yeah. It does. Not worth $4 million.
I don't think so. Of course, I'm not sure that any. I don't even want to go there. I mean, I had somebody yesterday tell me that he's like, you're waffling on this sustainability thing. And I said, I am. And he said, you're right. You're just early. And he pointed
That it's
out
not sustainable.
They said it's not sustainable. These numbers are not sustainable.
Okay.
He said where this is going is, he said, you're seeing it in basketball. Where this is going is people are promising money that they don't have with the hope that they'll be able to raise it quickly. And he said, you're just fishing in the same water over and over and over, and eventually there are no fish.
We have months to focus on this, but just a quick rundown because it did come out yesterday. SEC Media Days head coach schedule. Lane Kiffin going on day 1. He is in the same session with Brian Kelly, and then Shane Beamer and Clark Lee. Actually, I take that back. These are in alphabetical order, so I don't know the session people. I can't guarantee those are in the same session, but nonetheless, on Monday, Kelly, Kiffin, Shane Beamer, and Clark Lee. Pretty good day there. to kick it off. It is in Atlanta this year at the College Football Hall of Fame. This is July 14th through July 17th for SEC Media Day. So Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, Clark Lee, LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Day 2, another good day. It is Hugh Freeze, Kirby Smart, Josh Heupel, and Steve Sarkisian, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. From a straight interest standpoint, pretty front loaded. That's on the 15th. That's on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, the 16th, Kalen DeBoer, Billy Napier, Jeff Levy, and Brett Venables. Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma on day 3. And then it's closing on day 4, July 17th. That's a Thursday with Sam Pittman, Mark Stoops, Elijah Drinkwitz, and Mike Elko, Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Texas A&M. So that is your rundown there from Atlanta SEC Media Days. Again, College Football Hall of Fame, July 14th through July 17th. So first 2 days are the most interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I would assume that's done a little bit because I'm guessing some national media and other people, it's probably front loaded for a reason. I don't think that's by accident. You could get out of there. It's not everybody staying until day 4.
Yeah, they used to try to space it out where everyone stayed the whole time, and now I think it's, hey, we're going to get most of the juice early in the week. Let's take a big bite. And there will be some media that stay till the end.
Because Sankey's talks on the morning of day 1. Is that right?
Yeah, Sankey goes first.
Okay.
Who are the 4 on the last day?
Pittman, Stoops, Drinkwitz, Elko.
So keep all the Texas media. All the Texas media will stay.
That's about it, though.
That's about it. Yeah, everybody else will be kind of peace out.
Tupelo Rev, is Vanderbilt more relevant than Mississippi State? They're more interesting. Football.
Yes.
They're more interesting for sure.
And they're more relevant.
State's not interesting.
Not right now.
That's their problem, is everybody else is kind of interesting in a way. I can find a level of interest for maybe everybody else in the SEC. If you just told me, hey, you got to be kind of fascinated by them for a minute. Okay, I'll find something. Can't do it.
I'm trying to think. State's not interesting. I don't think Arkansas is interesting. I don't think Mississippi State is interesting. I don't think Kentucky is interesting.
I'm interested in Kentucky on the standpoint of they went 1-7 in the SEC, last year. They don't appear to be much better. They've got all this basketball versus football stuff, and they're paying Stoops $9 million. So what are you doing with a coach with $9 million that, frankly, your ceiling is pretty damn low anyway?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the difference between. Well, that's the difference between Kentucky and Arkansas probably, is that two athletic programs that are probably doing a lot of the same strategy. The difference is that Kentucky is just hamstrung financially to Stoops, whereas Arkansas is probably not with Pittman. I mean, It would hurt a little, but it's doable. The Stoops thing is not doable. If it were doable, they would have done it.
That's good points. Everybody else, I'm kind of whatever. I mean, it is a fascinating year in Norman. Year 2 in the SEC for Oklahoma. What's Venables look like?
I'm telling you now. I'm not doing hot takes.
You like Mateer a lot.
I like Mateer, and the running back they got from Cal is good. Jim Nagy, and it might not materialize this year, but he's going to do a good job there as the GM.
There's scuttle that this is the former Senior Bowl CEO for everybody that's outside of that. There's a lot of talk there, guessing, I think maybe even including Barry Trammell yesterday, that Nagy is potentially being brought in to replace Castiglione down the road.
Sense. It would make sense.
So, the athletic director at Oklahoma, again, for anybody catching up.
But he's going to do a good job with their program from a player procurement standpoint, managing values, things of that nature. When I say values, I don't mean like moral values. I mean like putting financial values on players and sticking to those values. He's good at scouting in the portal. He did it for the Senior Bowl, basically.
Knows everybody.
Knows everybody. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing the Oklahoma's going to win the title hot take so that when they go 6-6, everybody goes, "You're an idiot." I'm not saying
because here's the problem. It's possible that Nagy's here 1 year and Venables is fired at the end of the year.
Sure. But if you told me, hey, name some teams that you think could really surprise, I think Oklahoma would be my first.
Oh, okay.
They improved at quarterback.
100%.
A lot.
All right. Not going to spend a ton of time on it. Baseball yesterday. Ole Miss falling to Little Rock.
We are firing somebody today on the show. I mean, we hired Lane Kiffin. We hired Chris Beard, and now it is time to fire someone. I don't know who, but someone.
So, even saw and I'll get into the minutia in a second. What does the game matter? I think we're overvaluing it in some of the conversations, but RPI is relevant, and Ole Miss fell 5 spots in RPI yesterday after losing that game. If Ole Miss gets to 16, that game could matter to host. You can play your way out of the host, I mean, in or out, and if you win 18, it doesn't matter, and 17 probably doesn't matter, but you lose to a team that has a 254 RPI coming in that was well under 500. It's not a good look for your overall outlook for the season. It's not changing anything. Go into in Carolina and you're still on par and on pace and whatever. But yeah, you don't want to get into a situation where you're in the margins and you lost that game because your analytics hurt. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Oh, in 22, Ole Miss would not have made the postseason had they played Arkansas State and won the game. They wouldn't have made it. But then you lose it and you get even more whatever. So I think, and to Mike Bianco's credit, I mean, he made me laugh on the radio yesterday because David Kellum was kind of doing the DK thing and what he should be doing. And he was going, hey, Cade was pretty good there outside of that one inning. And Mike goes, David, I appreciate you. I know what you're trying to do here, but there was nothing redeeming about that game whatsoever. I'm sure. Little Rock didn't play well and won the game. Almost played like crap yesterday. They just had one of those days. It happens in baseball sometimes.
It does.
But you're late in the game swinging through fastballs. Like it was a strange game for Ole Miss yesterday. They go 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They strike out 13 times yesterday. I think they strand 12. They scored 3 runs despite having 7 hits and 10 free passes. That's hard to do.
Well, so there's a lot there. And you see this team significantly more than I do, but I try to watch them. I still think this is a good team. I just think it's a team that has thin margins.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bandwidth between being average and being pretty good for them is a really small line. It's my opinion. And then you're playing on a Tuesday morning, less than 48 hours after a very emotional weekend.
Yep.
You knew you weren't going to come out with the same intensity, and this is where you have to have some internal discipline, right? You just gotta go play the damn game. Let's go do it. And sometimes college teams struggle with that. Hell, sometimes major league teams struggle with that. But I think that's the thing with them is they do strike out a lot. They do some things that sort of stop you sometimes from putting a big inning together because all you need is one big inning against a team like that, and you're going to go win the game. And they didn't manage it, and sometimes the alarm doesn't go off in the morning, or you sleep through it, and they had one of those days. To your point, big picture, those things don't matter until they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you go take care of business in the SEC and you've got 18, 19 SEC wins, it won't matter at all. If you had 15 or 16 SEC wins, it could matter a lot.
They had not lost any game to a bad team before yesterday.
And so if that's the only one, they'll probably be fine. But it does say, hey, it could be like if, we're talking about 16 SEC wins. Does that get you a host site? Probably. But if it bumps your RPI down just a little bit and the committee wants to get cute, there's, you just, we always say you don't want to put it in the hands of a committee. And now you just gave somebody on the committee something to use against you in a debate.
Mm-hmm. Look, it's not like they haven't ever won a game, but they lose their weird majority comparative to the normal midweeks on this Kids Day game. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's environmental. I don't know if it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if it's just a small sample size and it's really weird luck. But they have pulled some of their worst midweek losses in this one game a year. They lost in 2019, they lost to North Alabama when they were transitioning from D2 to D1. There was one year that UAB swept them in a Kids Day doubleheader, outscoring the Rebels 9-2 over the two games. It's been a weird one, but they are now 27-10, 16-19. Sorry, Little Rock 16-19, Ole Miss 27-10. But the more important number, 9-6 in the SEC, headed to Columbia. 5:30 Central first pitch on Thursday, Friday, Saturday series because of Easter on Sunday. I don't know if it's every series in the league is like that, but most are playing Thursday to Saturday. Now look, they've got tweaks. Tweaks has got to happen. I know the other team has to play at 11, but that team is not used to a normal environment, and you have 7,000 kids. It's typically playing a team that is energized just to be playing you in general. You're playing a bad team almost every year in the game. It's just I'm not making excuses. They should have won the game yesterday. They were pathetic from a playing standpoint. But I do think something about that environmentally makes a difference in that game for whatever reason. Carolina's 2-13 in the SEC. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, but that's where this thing is. Headed to Columbia for that series.
They're not good. I have watched them some this year. The Gamecocks. They're just not good. They don't do anything particularly well. It's a series
I'm selling all my Maneri stock if I had any. I just don't believe in him there at all.
100%. Listen. I think this is an opportunity for Ole Miss, big time. They got to go play, and you got to bring some energy because they're not going to have the same. It's not going to have the same feel as that series last week where I thought Ole Miss played really, really well against Tennessee. Tennessee brought a lot of juice, and Ole Miss brought a lot of juice, and the fans brought a lot of juice. There was a lot of juice. You're not going to have that this time. You're going to have a little sleepier. Easter weekend, all that stuff. You're going to have to come up with. But I think Ole Miss is pretty good at that for the most part. I think this is a series they could sweep on the road.
The only non-Thursday to Saturday series is Florida and Tennessee this weekend. There are 6 series starting on Thursday. Ole Miss at Carolina, Auburn at Texas this weekend.
That's a good one.
It's a good chance for Auburn there. See what they can do. Texas 13-2 in the SEC, leading the league. Georgia at Vanderbilt this weekend.
Texas is the opposite. Texas is the opposite of South Carolina. Like
good at everything.
South Carolina, you're like, they're not horrible, but like they do nothing well. With Texas, sometimes you're like, they're not great, but my God, they do everything well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which might mean
they don't have a major glaring weakness.
Yeah, they're not flashy. You don't watch them and go, oh my God, they're amazing, but they just win.
Very much offense versus defense in Nashville as the Georgia Bulldogs head to Vanderbilt this weekend.
Hey, Georgia can hit the ball.
They can.
You talk about up and down the lineup, dudes who can run it out of the park, hit balls deep into the gaps, pitching it okay. They might be a team we're sleeping on a little bit.
I think that's very possible. Texas A&M, we talked about it the other day. Their path is to go 6-6 in the games that don't include Missouri, and then beat the Tigers 3 times. That starts this weekend. They're in Fayetteville, starting Thursday night, 6:30 Central Time for the Aggies and the Razorbacks.
Is that
Arkansas
the
one back of Texas for the
is that
SEC
the
lead.
SEC? Is that the SEC network game?
I don't have that listed. I don't know. But that would make sense from a timing standpoint. No.
That's
Actually,
good.
it might be Georgia Vanderbilt.
Okay, that's gonna be an interesting series in
Yeah.
Fayetteville because Texas A&M's been playing a little better lately.
Mm-hmm.
They're talented. Got off
They
to a
won
hitty
5 of their last 6. They took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee and then beat Carolina all 3 times.
got off to a hideous start. Arkansas has been amazing at home. Like I think they've lost twice at home.
Okay.
That's it. They've been really good at home. They're shaking up their pitching staff a little bit. They're getting one guy back and shaking some stuff up. So, be an interesting. That's an interesting series to watch.
Alabama's at LSU this weekend. LSU coming off the sweep to Auburn over the weekend. They return home to play the Crimson Tide, who's 8-7 in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think LSU's in the same category with Texas, Arkansas, and Georgia. I think they're a little step down, and you saw that last week at Auburn. I thought, and Bama's just a team that kind of gets the most out of their ability. We sleep on them a little bit too because they just sort of sit in the middle of the pack, and we don't think about Alabama as a baseball school or whatever. But they're pretty solid.
Then a big opportunity for the Oklahoma Sooners. They are 7-8 in the SEC. They need them, and they're in Columbia, Missouri this weekend. So 7-8 for Oklahoma at Missouri.
10-8 Oklahoma.
10-8 Oklahoma.
Congrats to the Sooners.
And then, it's actually take that back. There are 2 series starting on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not just 1, 2. I got Kentucky at Tennessee. I thought it was Florida. I was wrong. It's Kentucky at Tennessee this weekend.
Oh, that
and
won't
then do what?
That won't get chippy. I mean, the umpiring crew that got assigned that said, "Oh, damn it."
All the baby shark and the Tennessee stuff and the whole deal, and yeah, good luck. 27 innings there between the Vols and the Wildcats. And then look, the loser of this series is going to be in a real bad mood when they leave. The Florida Gators are at the Mississippi State Bulldogs this weekend.
What's Florida now? What's their record? They're like
They 4-11
because they swept Missouri.
4-11. State's 5-10. They had to get those 2 against Alabama, and they did it. I mean, State could 7-11, and you're okay. Got a shot.
Yeah.
You got to go 500 the rest of the way at least, but you got a shot. So
in a world where Florida doesn't make the NCAA tournament, is that it?
I mean, they're not firing him. They owe him too much money, and he was in Omaha last year.
I know, but they hate him.
Well, they should hate him. The fact that he's kept his job this long is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
he was winning, and they don't care.
For whatever reason, the way media cover college baseball is everything is warm and fuzzy.
Uh-huh.
And anything that's not warm and fuzzy just didn't happen. And you're like, man.
There is nothing less warm and fuzzy than Kevin O'Sullivan.
That story's not fuzzy at all. And it just doesn't ever. I guess because the media that covers, like if you think about it, right? It's just the SEC network, which is by definition propaganda.
It's a corporate partner.
Yeah. And so the only time that you get any national coverage really is the postseason. And even then it's people that are hardcore college baseball people. And it's just.
They're not running the expose, most likely.
Yeah, the media types that show up and write nasty columns at the basketball tournament don't cover the baseball tournament.
Correct. Um, yeah. So,
But
anyway.
man, you kind of missing a low hanging fruit there, Dan.
Oh boy, Rebel 41
Dig
says
into this one.
Branson Robinson has entered the portal. He's former Mississippi high school running back at Georgia.
Might be one to watch. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So two things here. One, Ole Miss did hold off the competition, win the golf tournament yesterday after breaking all those records. I think they ended up beating Alabama by 33 strokes to get that. Tom Fisher and Michael Assasso, both Ole Miss golfers, shared the individual title at 13 under. Their trophy was like this little mini cowbell. It's not very bipartisan there for a college golf tournament, but it was like a little silver cowbell thing. Put a picture up on the site. So, um, women are in fourth, I believe, going into the final day of the SEC championships for women's golf. You have to finish top 8 to move to the match play portion. Ole Miss is in line for a good seed. Corey's done a hell of a job with that program, including the 2021 national title, but they are currently sitting in fourth there
Grind makes a
in that.
Grind makes a great point in the stream. I'm mad at myself for even saying it because
What?
I'd heard something about Robinson months ago. He can transfer inside the league, but he would have to sit a year.
Yes, he is not awarded immediately. He would not be immediately eligible inside the SEC after the winter portal period.
Correct.
That is correct. Yes. So I saw the Athletic put out their top 50 prospects for baseball for the draft this year. Did you see this?
I actually read a draft thing this morning. I can't remember where I read it. Probably was the Athletic.
Okay, so the one Ole Miss mentioned, Mason Morris, coming in at 50. He's starting to rise, which is not a shock. His stuff has been completely elite. Ole Miss is they're misusing him because of the results. He has thrown incredibly well 2 weeks in a row, and they've lost both those baseball games. What exactly to do with him is complicated. It is not as easy as just throw him out there and win the game. But it is also a waste when you have him do what he has done. I think he has thrown 9.1 innings, allowing 1 run, and I'm not sure it was earned over the course of the last two weeks. But they're 0-2 in those games, so I got to get that figured out. But here's the talent level of what you're talking about inside the SEC right now. So I'm going to give you the college players in the list. This is top 50. This is from the Athletic. I don't know who did it. Doesn't really matter. Liam Doyle, number 2 overall. There's some 1-1 talk with Doyle because he throws 99 miles an hour from the left side. I don't like his complete repertoire, but yes, there is some talk there. He's obviously talented. Number 2, Liam Doyle. Jamie Arnold, Florida State, hellaciously good left-handed pitcher. Number 3. Oregon State shortstop, number 4. Okay, Wake Forest, number 5. Good. Gavin Killen, number 6, Tennessee. So 2 Tennessee players, top 6 there. Cade Anderson, pitcher, LSU, number 8. By the way, JoJo Parker, number 9. He's from Purvis. High school kid's going to go pro. Auburn, Ike Irish, catcher, 11. Dean Curley, Tennessee, 13. So Tennessee has 3 of the top 13 prospects in this list.
Mm-hmm.
Kyson Witherspoon, 14, Oklahoma. Zach Root, 17, Arkansas. Riley Quick, 18, Alabama. 19, one of the Aloys, Arkansas. Stevenson, North Carolina, 20.
The shortstop, probably, right?
That is correct. Devin Taylor, 22, Indiana. Cam Canarello, Clemson, damn good player, 23. Lavalette A&M, 25. Arkansas, Charles Dobbins, 28. The outfielder. Max Bellew, 31, Texas. You see a theme here? They're all SEC players.
I was noticing that, yes.
Very few not SEC. 38, Jared Spencer, Texas. Southern Miss, J.B. Middleton, by the way, 44.
Yeah.
J.D. Thompson, Vanderbilt, 47. And then Mason Morris down at 50.
It's almost like there's a lot of talent in the league.
It's where you're talking about. It's possible that while the league looks down compared to its past, it's still going to beat it the hell everybody in the postseason.
It's what I expect.
The other teams still have to beat them.
I could be wrong. I know Florida State's really talented, and there's some other good teams, but I wouldn't want to have to go to Austin in the postseason and go, okay, let's go win. Fayetteville, Athens, Baton Rouge, Knoxville, frankly, Oxford. I mean, I just think Ole Miss just has to take care of business, and I think they're going to be okay. I really do. I mean, you got weekends like this one. Instead, the difference between hosting a regional and hosting a super is going to be taking 3 instead of just 2 when you can. Who are the ones Ole Miss has left?
South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Oklahoma,
and State.
Can you go 5-1 on the road against Carolina and State?
To get to a super, you got to get to be a national seed. Ole Miss would have to get to,
I think 18 19. Minimum and maybe more.
Probably, I was going to say 19 SEC wins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which means 10-5 the rest of the way.
Kind of means you got to go sweep this weekend because you got the Missouri thing baked into the first half. Yeah, you got to go do
you
that.
Go bake one in.
Yeah,
that's a big number. That just feels big. We'll see, but
yeah.
They got to throw strikes. They got to lengthen a little bit to get there. They can't make the bullpen math be what it is every single week like it is right now.
Well, I get where it's a quandary for him because if he takes Morris out of the role he's in now and makes him say his Saturday starter, and then Hunter only gets you into the 4th, and now you lose the Friday game. It's a little different pressure on you.
You would be taking Nichols out of the rotation. He's done a pretty good job and making him fill Morris's role almost completely.
Yeah, because he's let you, that combination has let you have your bullpen pretty fresh come Saturday and Sunday. If you have to go heavy into your bullpen on Friday because Elliott doesn't go long, well, now you don't have as much bullpen on Saturday and Sunday as you're used to having.
And who's bridging Morris at that point after 5 innings?
Yeah.
That would shift Riley down to Sunday in that theory, which actually would give you a pretty good advantage on Sunday. He's been good the last 2 weeks. I think there's a chance that he's turning it around.
The question would be bullpen. Just do you have enough bullpen to do those? If you have to use a lot on Friday, do you have enough to get you there on Saturday? And then Sunday games are typically weird in the league, but yeah.
I suppose Savannah. Go ahead.
What you're doing right now, which I think gives you the best chance to win on Fridays, which takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the weekend.
We mentioned the Savannah Bananas yesterday. ESPN announcing that they are going to televise 10 of their games this summer.
Wild.
So people will be pretty familiar with their rules by August.
It's we haven't talked about it enough. The ESPN decision to just tell Major League Baseball to kick rocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to me.
What it says about the league, what it says about TV viewing, everything.
Everything. You know, and in 2026, I'm guessing ESPN's going to have a whole lot of World Cup.
Do they have it, though? Isn't it a ton of Fox?
Is it Fox?
For some reason, I thought it was Fox because Reese Davis was offered the job to lead World Cup coverage, but I could be wrong.
Then I'd stand corrected. No, you're probably right. It just tells you that they're like, no one watches this, and so we're not going to do it. Which is wild because all the...
Yeah, completely on Fox and Telemundo in the U.S.
Okay. All the RSNs locally do well. I mean, Braves fans watch the Braves, but they don't watch anybody else. Like TBS last night had Baltimore and Cleveland. I saw that on. And I thought to myself as I scrolled past it, does anyone outside of Cleveland and Baltimore fans watch this game?
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know it was on.
It's not dying, Daniel. It's just
It's
completely
regionalizing more by the day.
I mean, I guess they still do okay in the postseason, although you're going up against football at that point, which is just like fighting a baboon. Did you see the video? There was a video of this. It was like a leopard. It was going after a pack of baboons, and this one big alpha male baboon just turns, comes right at it like a linebacker, and just, I mean, messed up that leopard.
Oh, really?
And then all the other baboons came in, and you're like, that leopard was like, this was not a good idea. He got away.
So typically, cats win fights.
Not that. That baboon was, hey, you had no shot, man. No shot.
Well, that's like the thing with is it hippos? They eat plants, but they charge every human or animal they see. They just hate you for no reason. They don't eat you. They just hate your existence.
Yeah, hippos are scary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't fear them enough. You don't have enough fear for hippopotamuses.
I think that would be really high up on the list of what you don't want to be in a cage with or in a container with.
That song where the little girl sings, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. You're like, no, you don't. No, you don't want a hippopotamus. Not if you want to see another Christmas.
You'd have better luck with a baboon. He might just like see you as one of his friends.
I don't know. That was something else. I mean, because a leopard can run, man. I mean, that is like you're chasing down Reggie Bush or something. I mean, he's flying.
A big cat, yeah.
And no problem. Lateral movement, everything, and just pursuit.
G says raccoons are mean. We don't talk about that enough.
Oh, it's probably true. And you got to figure a lot of raccoons are rabid.
Yeah. But I mean, you see a raccoon out and about often? Nah. We probably fear snakes more than we should, given how bad other animals are. But still, I'm good with my tier system. I'll take my chances. See, that might be the most scary stat. Tim says pygmy hippos can run 20 miles an hour.
I can't remember where I saw the video. I saw it in the last 2 days.
So a hippo is not only his size and his aggression, but he's DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I mean,
running at you.
You don't want to fight that. I mean, I don't want to fight anything, but I don't want to fight that.
You still have that king snake in your yard?
I mean, I hope he's still around.
Okay. You making friends with the snake was not on my bingo card for the 2020s.
You know, we just opened the show talking about Lane's growth. I've had some growth.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. He hates copperheads, hence I'm good with him.
100%. Literally walked out, saw him on the patio, and I was like, hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I used to have a raccoon that would come in my garage and try to steal dog food.
That's what you should have just gotten a cat. That would have been the end of that raccoon.
No. They like made friends because I have a cat. I have Peanut Butter who fell down the shaft, the elevator shaft thing in my house that day. And then we have a couple outside cats. That's what was happening was I left the garage door kind of cracked at the bottom for a cat to get in and out. And I heard something kind of sort of rustling around in the garage, and I opened the door. And when I opened the door, the raccoon was sitting there with his hand down in the dog food, just staring at me. And we just stared at each other for like 3, 4, 5 seconds. And then finally, I just closed the door. I'm like, nah, I'm out on this fight. You can have it. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Because they're smart. They take apart squirrel feeders and stuff. Like they can figure out most of the. Yes, my cat's name's Peanut Butter. What about it?
Don't you hate squirrels? Squirrels get into the bird feed. Laura loves bird
elevator
feeders.
shaft was a joke. It looked like a mine shaft. It was in our attic down to our floor. It looks like a horror film. You can find it on the board. But no, it's not an actual elevator shaft. It just looks like something from a Saw movie.
That would be a flex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got stuck in the elevator.
You hate squirrels?
No, but like we have the bird feeders, and we'll fill up the bird feeders, and then you look out, and there are these giant fat ass squirrels just hanging all over them, just eating all the bird feed. And then the bird feed gets all over the ground, and then the dogs go eat the bird feed, and we wonder why their stomachs are upset. It's like it's a perpetual thing. And the answer is no more bird feeders. I get it, but that's not a sufficient answer. That's not satisfactory in the house. That doesn't work. You know,
peanut butter.
Fights worth having, fights not worth having. That's one not worth. No.
Yes, peanut butter's fine. He failed the 2 stories, and then he ended up with like a little scratch on the end of his nose, but that was it. He's cool. They land on their feet, so he's around here somewhere. Okay, I don't know. We started with Lane and Theo, and then with raccoons and squirrels and hippopotamus.
We covered
hippopotami.
Stuff. We talked about basketball. We talked about baseball.
Media day.
We talked about media day. I mean, I feel like we covered some ground.
You good with media day being at the College Football Hall of Fame?
It's fine.
You'd rather it be in Nashville, but
yeah, I wish they would just put everything in Nashville.
Okay.
It's just easy. But college, the one in Atlanta, when they did it that year, was fine. It'll be fine. I actually loved the one in Dallas last year. The setup was great.
Where was it? A hotel?
Yeah, it was at the Omni downtown.
Okay.
The setup was really, really good.
He was fine. I actually didn't even take him to a vet. There was no need. We were good. We didn't need to go see anybody. Cat was okay. It's like covered in like sheetrock dust and stuff, but
tough as nails, peanut butter.
Yeah. He's not intimidating. So I mean, house cats are kind of like apex predators as long as they stay away from owls.
From what?
Owls. Small animals can get gotten by owls in neighborhoods.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah.
The mean streets, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to be careful about owls if you have like really small animals outside. You know that? Yeah.
I did not.
I mean, your
that.
labs are safe. I don't think they could pick Riz up. So
he'd play along.
He'd play along.
He'd think it was going for a fun ride.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Baseball tomorrow night. We'll see whatever's going on in the transfer portal, basketball or football at this point. And then again, football again tomorrow. Availability, practice, and interviews. We'll hear from Lane again. So we'll recap whatever that is coming up on the site as well. So hope y'all have a great day. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.